and then into the end of this week. The Fed rate hike has been pulled forward almost a year in time, and that is not priced into the market. That is not priced into the market. We are going into the Memorial Day holiday, and one of the things that's very interesting about this from a historical perspective, and there's a lot of market participants that perceive this as being, you've sure you've heard this claim or the saying, sell in May and go away. It's not exactly true from the perspective of it creates a kind of false narrative in that way. It's more of a hedge in May and go away. You can see this incredible rally that we have been a part of inside of the last 7 going on 8 weeks now. And this was essentially a profit target to a traditional short setup that we had completed down here on March 31st. That March 31st profit target being hit, which we ripped away from, then broke a series of traditional short setups. And this is where things become important to understand the progression of measured moves here. We broke the next traditional measured move in our series. So we pierced this 61.8% line here, and this was coming out of April 1st. And so there was room for the very first pullback after the trend break. And the reason that I want to talk about this setup is because we broke extension shorts, we broke traditional shorts, and then we ran into the very first full retracement long from lows of that trend, of that low, of that profit target to our most recent high. We were front run by 1 tick. Now this was a Thursday in the morning in the pre-market timeframes, okay? And that lifted us off in a new series. We went from traditionals going to and through the profit target to extensions, which then traded their 50 coming out of Monday the 12th. But what I want to point out here is this setup, the very first measured move after the trend break. We fast forward 7 weeks, and last week, Thursday, we broke our series of extensions. I'm going to point this out here. Let's get rid of these new setups. After we broke our series, we traded our very first measured move short. That's kind of like the setup that traded on that Thursday, front run by 1 tick. This original setup here, as we were going into Friday, traded, it was front run, and then we ran to targets, and by Sunday night, Monday morning, we had completed. And then we came into a new 50% retracement from highs to lows. Now, the only problem here is that this setup traded on a Friday and then on a Monday. And Wall Street always gets its fill. And then we sold off from our resistance levels yesterday, coming right out of these pre-NVIDIA short setups. And I'm going to turn off the Globex time frame for a moment and just look at trading hours from the perspective of that original setup. We're running right back up into a right shoulder, and then we had this long from lows that we ran into yesterday. You'll notice here that there are 2 opposing setups. There's always going to be. This stream continues at eMoneyAddict.com. The link is in the description. Join me there for tools and resources for learning measured move trading. I wrote the book on the measured move. Check out the hundreds of others that have learned trading plan development, pattern recognition, money management, and trading discipline with me to become the best, most confident trader that you can be.